Stephen Fry on vocals, maybe? I don't know.
You never know, do you? That'd be quite good.
Extraordinary turnaround. Anyway, thank you very much indeed for that. Sam's with us, editor of Heat magazine for the papers. Good morning to you once more and welcome. Bigotgate is back in the headlines.
She is. I'm just fascinated by characters like this woman, Gillian Duffy. You'll remember that during the election campaign, Gordon Brown was doing a walk and talk, and he got talking to her. She pulled him up on a few issues to do with a few forthright views to do with immigration. He later referred to her as a bigot in the car.
On a Sky News microphone.
On a Sky News microphone. Well done, yeah. And she has now become sort of like a celebrity in her own right, almost.
Political pundit.
I read somewhere she was thinking of releasing her own range of fragrances and so forth. You know, we may even see her make an appearance on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Singing with Hugh Laurie.
Things have happened. Yeah, no, absolutely. It is amazing how now it's her opinion on the Labour leadership race that the Mirror are making a big deal out, because they say she came to symbolise the extent to which Labour had lost touch with its grassroots, and now she has endorsed Ed Miliband, which they say is a good thing for Ed Miliband. I mean, it could be that Ed Miliband might be disappointed that someone who has rather reactionary views on immigration...
Oh, it's David, actually. It's David Miliband.
Hold on. Yeah. I'm sorry to the Milibands.
I know. That's very difficult to tell them apart, but, you know, there we go.
But it could make all the difference.
Absolutely.
Anyway, she likes a Miliband.
Yeah,
if that counts
in the morning.
Anything, she likes a Miliband.
Right. The Independent and the cuts victim that won't provoke any tears. The speed camera, R.I.P.
The speed camera, £95 million a year goes to local authorities from the government to fund road safety and mostly speed cameras. That is being slashed to 38 million. That's almost, what's that, 60 million quid by my maths they're going to save there. And obviously, you know, they're extremely unpopular, but only amongst a certain demographic, a very vocal demographic, not necessarily the majority of us. I personally, which might be rare amongst youngish males, I'm a fan of the speed camera. I mean, you know, it's been unequivocally proven to save lives on a yearly basis. Plus,
well, has it? That's the whole debate. I mean, you know, there are questions as to where the cameras are situated, whether it's saved lives in those particular areas, even though the overall figures have
they
gone
think
down.
that the figures might be linked to other factors aside from speed cameras.
Yeah.
I've got another good reason, though.
Right.
The other good reason is I drive like an old lady anyway. It makes no difference to me.
So
I'm not one of these boy raisers. Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's not. I don't even need an excuse. I've never placed a huge importance on being a fast driver. Anyway, they're saving £60 million, and of course, the Jeremy Clarkson element amongst us are absolutely overjoyed.
Foot to the floor, right?
Yeah.
Anne Widdecombe is not going to the Vatican. We can exclusively reveal this morning. So where is she going?
Well, there's a strong rumour that she is going instead to Strictly Come Dancing. She is, of course, you know, a convert to the Catholic Church, has been very vociferous about, you know, her support of the Catholic Church, and she was offered the role of ambassador to the Holy See, which is ambassador over there at the Vatican. What a role for someone like her.
Yeah.
She turned it down because she said, what is this? It was something, she had a detached retina. And that was her excuse. She said, you know, it's a good job, thanks a lot, but I've got this detached retina, so physically I will be unable to perform this role, which seems strange to me because I don't see how an ambassador's retina is going to be integral to their day-to-day duties, unless I misunderstand the duties of an ambassador.
But you can waltz then with a detached retina.
You can do the paso doble.
Oh, the paso doble, yeah.
Yeah, so instead she is signing up for this. Strictly Come Dancing, who came under criticism last year for ageism, for ditching the older women on the show. They're thinking that this might kind of redress that balance, and she could be the female John Sargent, i.e. a not very talented dancer.
And soon to be featured in Heat magazine?
Well, it's a strange thing. I was saying to Charlotte, you know, if you'd asked me a week ago, would Anne Widdecombe ever make the cover of Heat magazine, I would have said 1,000,000 to 1 shot. But if she's going to go into Strictly, who knows? Right. Stranger things have happened.
Watch this space.
I mean, I wouldn't rule out that Bigotgate woman either.
No.
It could be a stunning cover.
Well, there we are. Or perhaps we have the two of them as a double act on Channel 5 as television presenters now with Richard Desmond. Who knows?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, there's a piece here in the Express with a very straightforward headline, "A Good Move for TV." And it's a nice long piece about how Jeremy Hunt, the cabinet minister, has said that it's extremely good for broadcasting and for the public service of broadcasting that this amazing visionary, Richard Desmond, has taken over Channel 5, which, of course, he did on Friday.
Doesn't he own the Daily Express as well?
He owns the Daily Express.
Right, okay.
So that might inform you. And if anyone's sort of thinking about the reasons why it could be a problem for one man to own so many different things, I think that story there in his own newspaper may encapsulate the problems some of us have.
Right, thank you very much indeed, and we look forward to Anne Widdecombe and Heat magazine.
Yeah,
coming
wait.
to a sort of news agency.
If I can get her.
If you can get her, this is it. Yeah, she's bidding more beyond that.
Yeah.
Sam, thanks very much indeed. So the government said more reaction to that as we get it. First, let's get the rest of the day's news with Charlotte.
Thank you, Mark. BP's chief executive, Tony Hayward, is to leave his post as a result of the oil leak in the Gulf of Mexico. The board will meet in London today to discuss his departure. Our city editor, Mark Kleiman, who broke the story, is at the company's headquarters in central London. And Mark, BP saying this morning there's been no final decision, but are we still expecting Tony Hayward to go?
That's right.
Yeah, and the mast apparently recycled aluminium tubing.
So
the whole thing is recycled. Very impressive. Thank you very much for that. What about the front pages of... Let's get the rest of the day's news too with Charlotte.
Thanks, Mark. BP's chief executive, Tony Hayward, is to leave his post as a result of the oil leak in the Gulf of Mexico. The board will meet in London today to discuss. The actor Hugh Laurie is ditching his house scripts and he's swapping them for musical scores. The 51-year-old, who can play both the piano and the guitar, has signed a record deal with the major music group Warner. He'll be teaming up with a range of guest musicians for the New Orleans Blues album, which is going to be recorded in the summer. So there you go.
In tune, as I say. Thank you very much indeed. The government to announce major changes.
The Live Desk opens now. Brought low by the Gulf oil spill, BP boss Tony Hayward is set to step down from the company. Power over the police. The new measures giving elected officials the chance to sack chief constables. And Ferrari could face further sanctions after their team orders at the German Grand Prix. But first at 9 o'clock, a massive leak of documents shedding new light on the conflict in Afghanistan has left the US military on the defensive this morning. Thousands of pages passed to the WikiLeaks website outline details of unknown civilian deaths and hit squads set to hunt the Taliban leadership. Well, more than 90,000 reports have been posted online via the website WikiLeaks, and they give details of individual operations by NATO troops. It's the biggest leak the US military has faced since the Vietnam War. The documents are dated between 2004 and 2009, and they include potentially damaging information about a secret task force sent out to kill Taliban leaders without trial. More unconfirmed reports suggest that Pakistan's intelligence service, the ISI, has been covertly supporting the Taliban, and reports written by troops give details of more than 140 operations which claimed the lives of civilians. Well, Colonel Stuart Tootle, who used to command British forces in Afghanistan, says the information reveals why the military strategy there has changed.
It's only damaging if it's taken out of context.